prudent, practical, and wise. These are the characteristics that all of us boys strive for, and we appreciate you being a model for us. Frank Wright, one of my dad's employers, one time said about Dad, "You're the most religious, non-religious person I've ever met."
You know what? So true.
God's
so true.
honest truth. God's honest truth. Okay, so now we're going to go here. Okay, some of my memories, and I'll leave the part about the footprints out because that's your story.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's
No,
your story.
you got it. I'm not using that's your turn. That's your turn.
Because you
Okay.
know what? I've heard that because
Okay.
Larry,
So-
I was there. I was
You
there.
were
I was in the garage. I saw the footprints. I know they were your footprints.
I never copped to that.
Yeah.
All right.
I only had
So
one.
here's some of my sweet memories. Okay, when I was a young lad. Well, like first of all, let's start with this one. It's not in the script, but like I say, Dad never gave us allowance. He always said we had to earn our money, and so he always put us to work. Remember pulling weeds in the yard? We had a dichondra grass, and you guys probably don't even know what the hell dichondra is. You've heard of dichondra? Dichondra, okay, dichondra.
I pulled clover dichondra.
Yeah.
We had your mom and I were
But
out there pulling dichondra in the
But
farm
no, but
grass.
Dad's grass was planned dichondra. Dichondra could be a weed in normal grass, but if you have a pristine dichondra lawn, it's beautiful. Really
But you can't do any wrestling on it.
You
trust
can't
me.
wrestle on it. No wrestling.
We can't wrestle on it. It's up,
Or
man.
no cardboard slides.
So when we went to California, the grass was like half dichondra and half weeds.
But it was all
It was half
ryegrass.
Oh,
But we didn't know
ryegrass.
what dichondra. I didn't know.
Oh,
what
okay.
dichondra
Well,
was.
at whatever point he decided he was going to go with dichondra because it was
Well,
beautiful.
it was ryegrass on top of seed.
Okay.
Dichondra.
So you started putting dichondra on there.
No, it was dichondra
Oh, it was
seed.
dichondra
The
seed.
guy we
But
bought
the
the
rye
house
grew
from
in
put
between.
ryegrass to cover
Oh,
the
he
seed.
grew the. Well, Dad decided he didn't like the ryegrass.
Well, the ryegrass is a perennial.
Yeah, so he didn't like the ryegrass. He liked the dichondra. And he had 4 boys, and so he
And 4 weed pullers.
4 weed pullers. I mean, in all fairness, Mom and Dad got out there and they pulled weeds too. But by God, we went out there every summer evening. We would pull those weeds, and honest to gosh, though, after a few years of that, that dichondra, it was beautiful dichondra. That's right. You don't have to mow it. Then we moved to Westlake, and we said, Dad, don't get that dichondra. Get the Kentucky bluegrass. That's beautiful.
When we put the
And then we had
doughboy
to mow
pool
it.
in, he sold the dichondra to the nursery.
He did.
It was the best dichondra on the planet.
I tried to say it to the guy. Well, we put that doughboy pool in. I said, "Do you want it?" He said, "Yeah." And he wanted me to dig it up and take it to him. I said, "No, if you want it, you come and get it."
You know, would you quit
And he wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do that.
getting grossed out over here.
All right, so back to some of my memories.
My journey, fine.
I remember, well, oh yeah, I started to say, so Dad never gave us allowance. He always said we had to work for our money. And I remember one time Dad was painting the gate. Actually, he was varnishing the gate in Silmar. And yeah, I mean, look, when you watch somebody else paint, it looks like fun. And so I asked Dad, "Can I help?" And he gave me a paintbrush, and so I started doing, you know. I mean, I really didn't do very much, but I did do some painting, all right? And when I was done, I said, "So Dad, how much money did I earn?" And he had to be a man of his word. He reached in his pocket, he got a dime, and he gave me the dime. Anyway, so one of my other memories when I was a young boy is, I don't know what year it was, probably 64, 65. It was around Halloween time, and Dad had a big block of wood. Just a big old block of wood, and everyone was carving pumpkins, but I wanted to do something with that block of wood, so I grabbed a screwdriver and a hammer from Dad's garage, and I started making a pumpkin face in that block of wood. And I messed up, I kind of like got outside the lines, and it was like kind of messed up, and I called my dad over and I said, "Hey Dad, to my pumpkin face, and Dad looked at it and kind of inside of his head, I'm sure he's shaking his head, and he said, I think the law's got it. He said, well, we'll just turn over the block and we'll do a pumpkin face on the other side. When he turned it over, he realized I had already fucked up. I took the claw hammer to it. Dad didn't say anything. He just kept the straight face. Anyway, let's see. My next memory that I have here on my list was, our dear, when we moved to Sylmar, we had a very nice, friendly set of neighbors, Dick and Lois Clark. They used to do things together. Mom and Dad would play pinochle, and we'd go on vacations together and things. And
That's a shock.
I don't know, 66, 67, Dick and Lois decided to move to Burbank. But they were such great friends that we would go frequently over to their house and visit with them. Well, one night we were in the vicinity and we decided to drop by Dick and Lois's house on a whim. And we come up to the door and knock on the door and nobody's home. But we were such good friends that Dad had a key to their house, and Dad had this idea, I don't know if you remember this. Dad had the idea, he said, we're going to go in there and short sheet the bed. Do you remember that? You don't remember that? We went
No, it
inside.
sounds like something I
Do you guys know what a short sheet of the bed is?
No.
Okay, so a short sheet of the bed is when you take the
I
sheets
know what it is.
off, you take the blankets and the sheets off, and you take the top sheet, which is plugged in at the bottom, and you move it and you tuck it in at the top and you put it down halfway and fold it back up so it looks like a regular bed. And then when the person goes to get in the bed, they open it and they put their feet in the bottom of the sheet.
He did this because you wouldn't make your bed.
No, he did this at Dick and Lois's house.
Oh.
No, when we wouldn't make our bed, we would take
That's my story.
That's your story. I won't say that one. Thanks for warning me.
That's my story.
You caught me in time.
Because I know that story.
Okay, well, how about this one? I don't know if you got this one in your repertoire, but
Hey, remember, I've been there for 45 years.
this might predate Loretta.
Okay.
Anyway, one time back in '68, maybe, we were at Bernie
Yeah,
Falls,
because I wasn't there to say.
and Dad decided he was going to show his boys how to use an axe. And so he had his axe and he was going to go show us how to cut wood, and we went out to for this demonstration, and Dad took a swing at that axe and it glanced off the log and went right into his shin.
Right in my shin.
Oh,
Right through my pants, so right into my
so
leg.
he showed us
Okay,
how
how
not
dumb
to.
is that?
But honest to God, he had a
Why
slice.
would you do that?
It was to show us how not to do it. But he literally, there was a slice in his pants, a slice through his sock,
These
and
pants
a
right
little,
here.
Right in my
Tiny little.
and a cut in his shin.
in my shin.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, nevertheless, it was still a good lesson for the Cole boys. We all learned how not to use an axe. Okay, we used to joke about my dad, how practical he was, and it's a little dangerous because a few of, or all of his boys are about as practical as he always was. And but my dad would do anything to save a buck. I mean anything. I told you about the oil filters, right? Okay, so hope this isn't part of your story.
No, it won't be.
But when we moved to Westlake, they were looking to scrape and shave every penny they could. So we would go to the market, and Mom and Dad would buy whole milk,
Oh, yeah.
and they would buy dehydrated milk. So you would get a gallon of whole milk, and then you'd get milk powder. And he would make us, boys, we would take the milk powder and add water to it, and we would mix it in the blender, and then we would mix it 50-50 with regular milk because it saved us money.
Talking about saving money, Larry, I gotta say this one here. I'm pretty damn sure this one's not on your list.
Yeah?
I had my friends in high school convinced that they were only allowed to use 4 squares of toilet paper. Tom O'Hara. He said, you're shitting me. I said, no, I'm not. My dad. Actually, he loosened up the rules because at the beginning, you would get 1 square. Here's 1 square, okay? So you give, and he showed us how to do this. You fold it in half like that, and you fold it in half like that. Then you take this corner, take this little corner there. Hold on that. Hold on that. Hold your hand. Don't lose it. Don't lose it.
Don't lose it.
Okay. So now you got this. Now you got this going, right? So what you do is when you go to take care of business, you go like this, right? You take care of business, and then you take the toilet paper and you go all up like that. Now you got that all taken care of. But now, what, you got this left over? Okay, you know what that's for? That right there, just goes underneath your fingernail and get all that.
Look at that disgusting.
That's disgusting. That is disgusting. Okay, so that we always joked about how tight my dad was, but it's
He's trying to go on the record.
yeah, you did.
It was one of those nights you had too much Pepsi.
But that's hitting close to home. That's hitting close to home. I must say I'm a pretty thrifty guy myself.
Well, all that frugality is how they got by in the world.
That's right. That's how they managed
Four
to.
little kids and
That's how they managed to afford that home in Westlake Village.
And for the record, there's a record right there. I made that up.
Set the record straight.
Are you having fun yet?
All right.
Seriously.
Here's the lighter part of my story, and Steve, my brother, will tell that part about the footprints. Anyway, I don't know how many of you guys have heard of the comedian Jeff Foxworthy. Anybody heard of that?
Yeah, of course.
You might be a redneck. Okay. Well, here's some Jeff Foxworthy humor as it applies to the Cole family. And these are maybe hitting a little bit close to home.
This is a roast.
So here we go. Number 1. If you've ever come home from vacation and dumped the water in the ice chest on the dry spots in your lawn, you might be a coal boy.
Guilty. I did it. That was before rationing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You might be a coal boy. All right. Number 2.
45 years? About 45?
If you've ever taken Number 2, if you've ever taken 2 broken objects to make one good object, you might be a coal boy.
You guys help him out.
Number 3, if you've ever picked paper towels out of the trash can and used them to clean up a mess, you might be a coal boy.
He does it.
Number 4, if you've ever captured rainwater in your trash can and used it to water the grass,
You might be a
coal boy.
I do it.
And number 5, if you've ever taken the old bar of soap out of the shower and stuck it to the new bar of soap instead of throwing it away, you might be a coal boy.
Or if beforehand you unwrapped that bar of soap when it was brand new and left it on the shelf for a couple of months so it dried out and it wouldn't go so far in the shower,
You might be a coal boy. Number 6, if you've ever run the hot water into a bucket while waiting for it to get hot and used that water to water your plants, you might be a coal boy.
Oh, I'm not carrying it down.
Number 7. These are all true, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Number 7. If you've ever replaced all the incandescent light bulbs in your house with energy-efficient fluorescent bulbs, you might be a coal boy. Number 8. If you've ever dismantled a broken piece of equipment to salvage the springs and nuts and bolts and washers before throwing it away, you might be a coal boy. Number 9. If you've ever taken the charcoal out of the barbecue
Oh, hell no!
to start your campfire
There it is.
What was that?
You might be.
If you've ever taken the charcoal out of the barbecue and used it to start the campfire, you might be a coal boy.
Or to put the barbecues into a tin can
And,
and
say,
snug
that's
them out.
right! That was another example of our thriftiness, you know, let's take a step back.
Yeah,
Okay, my dad never wasted anything.
No,
When
never.
we got our first barbecue, he didn't know how to barbecue, remember that?
Oh, God,
It
no.
was a charcoal barbecue and he put those burgers on and it flamed up and we had burnt black burgers. But when we were done, he says, those charcoals are still good. This is the God's honest truth.
Yeah.
Those charcoals are still good. So he got a metal can and he got his tongs and he put those charcoals one by one in
Like
that
that?
metal can and he smothered them.
Yeah, like that popcorn tin. That's
Just like that.
I have some in the trailer right now.
And then he used them the next time he had to do a barbecue.
Larry, I have a good one that I know that came from, I believe that came from your whole family. They probably got
Go ahead.
Okay, I will.
Well, say that. Okay, you're up. You'll be up after. Okay, I'm getting close.
But you gotta call it if somebody starts to tell the story.
You have to call.
You gotta
You gotta say that's mine. That's mine. All right, here we go.
Because these guys are loud.
Number 10. If you've ever been working under your car, realized you needed to get a screwdriver, and you got out, went to the workbench, grabbed your screwdriver, and crawled back under that car, and then realized that you left your wrench up on the bench when you grabbed the screwdriver, you might be a coal boy. If you've ever put 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag, you might be a coal boy. Number 12. If you ever brought your lunch to school and then folded up the paper bag and put it in your pocket so that you could use it the next day
for the rest of the week.
you might be a coal boy.
You gotta be freaking kidding me.
This is the God's honest truth. Okay, my last one, last but not least, if you've ever printed a document on 2 sides to save paper,
You are.
you might be a coal
No,
boy.
Larry, you are a coal boy.
You are a coal boy.
You are a coal boy.
And that's the last of my script. Besides this little closing comment, and it is just this. It's Dad. I wanted to thank you for being a great role model and for teaching me and my brothers how to provide for our families and be a good, honest, upstanding member of society. We would like to thank you for that. And my last words is, I'm proud to say that I'm a coal boy.